Do you want to retire young and be able to afford your dream life forever? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you the magic number that you need to make that a reality and the 3 steps to help you get there. I'll also show you how I achieved this by the age of 30 and how I've helped hundreds of our community members build multi-million-dollar portfolios as well. The problem is a lot of people don't even know how to properly define what financial freedom means, let alone have an action plan to actually get there. And one way that people have tried to define financial freedom is through the FIRE movement, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And this was a big fad over the past 10 or 15 years, but it's kind of faded out of popularity for a few reasons. Number one is this typically starts with the goal of just not going broke before you die. And they typically use what's known as the 4% safe withdrawal rate, which means that hypothetically, if you withdraw 4% of your portfolio every year to live on, in theory, you shouldn't go broke by the time you die. But who the hell wants to do that? And number two is they focus on budgeting and saving over aggressive net worth growth. So there are a bunch of different ways to try to define what financial freedom is, but this is actually the best definition that I've been able to come up with. And it starts with building what's called an escape velocity investment portfolio. And essentially what that means is you have an investment portfolio, could be stocks, crypto, real estate, a business, whatever, but you have investments that pay for your dream lifestyle without you having to work or add more capital to the portfolio, and where the returns outpace your dream lifestyle spending so you can continue to get wealthier over time. And I think this image really embodies the feeling of what financial freedom and having an escape velocity portfolio is really all about. If you think about spending as gravity, right? It's that force that is trying to hold you down, keep you in that job that you hate. But if you have a portfolio, which is like the rocket here, that is propelling you to a point where you break free of that gravitational pull and you are now effortlessly getting wealthier over time, that to me is the best definition of financial freedom. So let's talk about how to actually get there. How do you go from where you are today to the point where you have true escape velocity? And the first step is you need to find your EVP number. Basically, what investment portfolio size do you need to truly have escape velocity? And escape velocity is defined by having a withdrawal rate that is actually decreasing over time. So where the FIRE movement says, hey, just a standard 4% safe withdrawal rate and you shouldn't go broke by the time you die, what we want is that number actually decreasing over time, meaning you're spending a smaller and smaller percentage of your portfolio as you have escape velocity. And then how do you do that? Well, it's really about 2 things. Today, it's all about maximizing cash flow so you can invest in your escape velocity portfolio. And then you want to optimize your allocations, meaning what asset classes are you investing in, and try to maximize your gains. So let's take a look at an example on the calculator that we created. And at the end of this video, I'll actually show you how you can get a copy of this with some tutorial videos to help you go through this exercise yourself. But you can see up here in the top left, you can see, we have current age. Say it's a 30-year-old that wants to quote unquote retire at age 55 and plans to live to be 100. And let's say you're starting with $100,000 in your investment accounts. And let's say that this person makes $200,000 a year and currently spends $100,000. So in theory, they're able to save $100,000 a year. And we've also accounted for inflation, both on the income growth side. So say your income goes up 5% a year. And let's say that when you retire, you have retirement income from maybe a pension or Social Security. Maybe you can put 0 here if you don't want to rely on that. And then retirement income growth. And then also, let's say, this is a really important thing, is your dream lifestyle annual expenses. And look at it from today's point of view. Say, how much would it cost to have my dream house and my dream location and do everything that I want? And based on that, what you'll do is you'll also have inflation. So if that lifestyle comes, 15 or 20 years from now, that will also account for inflation. And then the next thing is we've broken up your investment portfolio into two sections. One is called your earning years, and two is under your retirement years. So when you're in your earning years, you might be actively investing. You're probably, maybe in our wealth building community and actively trading, or, in business, doing real estate, something like that. And so what you can do is you can break up your asset classes. Maybe you're 100% Bitcoin, or maybe you're mostly stocks, or maybe you own nothing and just real estate, right? So you want to come up with what you think is like an ideal portfolio allocation, and then come up with some anticipated returns. And obviously I'm an early Bitcoin guy, and I know a lot of you guys are into Bitcoin and crypto. So one of the most common questions is like, well, how do we run this number if we have a lot of Bitcoin or a little bit of Bitcoin? Basically, how does Bitcoin impact your escape velocity portfolio? And basically, over the past decade, Bitcoin has had an annualized return of 124%. That could be higher in the future, that could be lower. But one thing you could do is look at a few different return options. And one thing I actually asked everybody on Twitter yesterday was, how many Bitcoins does somebody need to be financially free forever? 8% said less than 1, 40% said 1 to 10, 35% said 10 to 100, and 15% said over 100. That was just kind of interesting to me. But what I responded to here on a response, this guy said, this has a lot to do with lifestyle and plays into your escape velocity equation. And he said, once I hit 2 million in assets, this is enough for me to coast with a job that I love. And I said, yeah, what I like to do is run different return rates or scenarios ranging from, what happens if Bitcoin goes to zero, or say it compounds at 25% or 100%, or say, it immediately goes to $1 million a coin, right? There's a really big range that you can run here. But on this example, I say, all right, what if it compounds at, 20% while I'm in my working years, and then by the time I retire, say it's only compounding at 10%. And the big thing here, and I don't want you to be overwhelmed by this, because there is a lot here. And again, at the end of this, I'll show you how you can get a copy of this. But the big thing is you want to see this withdrawal percentage decreasing over time. That is what we mean by escape velocity. It means that when you quit working and you go into your retirement years, you're actually spending a smaller and smaller percentage of that portfolio over time. Okay, so if the first step is to figure out what your EVP number is, the second step is to figure out how to get there, how to go from where you are today to building a multi-million-dollar portfolio that can give you escape velocity. So here's how I reached my escape velocity portfolio number. I built what I call my perpetual wealth machine, which is this mind map that I'll also give you a copy of here shortly. And the way that I was able to get to this number by the time I was 30 is by focusing on high ROT activities. ROT stands for return on time. Basically, what are the things that are going to give me the biggest payout or the biggest return for the smallest amount of time input? So an example of a low ROT activity is like day trading all day, spending 40 or 50 hours a week staring at charts. And if you're scalping for little moves in the market, you're probably not going to get that great of a return. And so the hourly return, or basically the wage that you're earning from like day trading all day, is probably pretty low. Where a high ROT activity for me, actually the highest ROT activity I've ever had, is swing trading crypto, where I invest just a few hours a week, if that, into actively managing my longer term crypto trades that I hold for several weeks, months, or years. And the return that I've gotten from that has just been incredible. And outside of my own hustle efforts, I also focus on outsourcing and partnering with other skilled traders and investors to also help grow my EVP. So this is what the wealth machine is all about. And I don't want this to be overwhelming. Again, this is something that I built over the past 20 years, but here's the high level overview. And if you want to get a copy of this as well as the calculator, you can click the link in the description. But these are the primary goals, right? We'll begin with the end in mind. And the major thing here is looking for your passive investing portfolio to build that EVP, right? How you get there is through active investing, where the primary goal is to focus on activities that give you the highest ROT, or the highest return on time, so you can accumulate assets effectively. And the way that that actually starts is up here in the cash flow section, where the primary goal is to maximize monthly cash flow from your hustle income to be able to funnel capital into your investing machine. So essentially what happens here is we take cash flow from all of my active and passive income, and we funnel that down into my active investing capital buckets, which a lot of my focus is on trading crypto and stocks, and then also in angel investing and some real estate deals. And then that funnels down into my passive portfolio, which includes like my cold storage, Bitcoin wallet, real estate that I own, tax advantaged retirement accounts that could be in the stock market or real estate or startup capital, venture funds, things like that. And the goal, again, is to begin with the end in mind that I want to build that escape velocity portfolio. The way that I get there is focusing on high return on time activities. And above that is maximizing your monthly cash flow so you have basically fuel to feed into the machine. So if you want to get access to all this stuff, I actually built a free course called the Build Your Wealth Machine course, where you can get the Escape Velocity Portfolio Calculator, you can get the Wealth Machine Mind Map, you can get a goal planning worksheet to help you go from where you are today to actually achieving that definition of financial freedom that we talked about. And there's also 7 tutorial videos with this. And again, I think this is perfect no matter if you're brand new to investing and you're starting from zero, or if you already have a multi-million-dollar portfolio and you're just trying to accelerate that and make sure that you're on track. So I'll link that up in the description. And I think this is going to be really helpful for you. Like I said, we've had hundreds, if not thousands of people in our community that have built multi-million-dollar portfolios. And this, I think, is a great framework and process to help you get there. So thanks so much for watching this video. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to throw them in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Share this up if there's anybody you think could get value from it. And make sure to go grab that free course. I will see you in the next video. Take care.